Pasamos así al siguiente punto del orden del día, que se refiere a la presentación sobre el lanzamiento regional del informe de la Comisión de las Naciones Unidas para el Empoderamiento Jurídico de los Pobres, documento CP-INF.5613/08. Para su presentación contamos hoy con la visita del doctor Naresh Singh, director ejecutivo de la Comisión de las Naciones Unidas para el Empoderamiento Jurídico de los Pobres. Doctor Naresh Singh, tiene usted el uso de la palabra y sea bienvenido a este recinto.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thanks a lot as well to the Secretariat, who was kind enough to arrange for us to be able to make this brief presentation to members of the Council. Mr. Chairman, I recognize that this agenda item is perhaps somewhat different from the agenda items that we would normally have on work of this kind. But I will try to give you a brief outline of our work, and then to raise a few points as to how we might pursue a formal collaboration with the OAS and the Secretariat. The PowerPoint presentation we have might appear to you to be a bit long, but I will not go through in any great detail, since you have copies of this and will be able to peruse it at your convenience. Instead, I want to give you a quick flavor, and then to leave this with you and to ask that we have any interventions or a brief discussion that might follow. Let me just move quickly from the way the Commission was created and so on, and I wouldn't take your time too much into the history of this and its structure, which you have with you. Essentially, just to let you know, we work through expert working groups with experts from all over the world, and we had national consultations in 22 countries around the world, including in this region. We have had consultations in Brazil, in Mexico, in Guatemala, in the US, and in Canada. You have there an outline of how we are structured. Just to point out that our Board of Advisors comprise heads of the multilateral institutions as well as regional development banks, and they have been kept very closely involved in our work right through. Most importantly, for the member states of the OAS, the IDB President, Luis Moreno, has been very involved, as well as his technical people, and they are, as far as I know, very pleased and very interested in this work and preparing they are setting the stage for implementation of aspects of this work as we prepare and finalize our report. A quick look at the Commission members, just to give you a sense of who have been involved. I wouldn't go through, excepting to say that for all regions of the world, we have most representation from the member states of the OAS. You will see that both of our co-chairs, Madeleine Albright and Hernando de Soto, are from this region, as well as 5 other members from Canada, the US, Mexico, and so on. Let me move to the substance of the work that we are engaged in. The people that we are addressing are not merely the poor or the extreme poor defined by the World Bank and others as those 1 billion people globally who live on less than $1 a day. They are included in this work. We are also including those who live on less than $2 a day. That is the additional 1.6 billion people, making 2.6 billion who live on less than $2 a day. But the work goes beyond that. Really, our work is focused on the 4 billion people in the world today who are not able to use the law for protection of their assets and for generating economic opportunity. It is about how to get people to use the law for economic opportunity and greater asset and social protection. That is at the heart of this work, and that is what makes it different from any other work in the realm of poverty reduction or in the realm of law and rights that have been done before. And we focus our work in 4 specific areas. Maybe before I mention that, I should just mention that a large part of the developing world economies, as I said, are in fact in this state of exclusion from the ability to use the law to make a living. And that is very true, perhaps more of the region of the OAS member states than in any other region. I say that because the problems of the 1 billion are not as pressing in the OAS member states, that is the bottom billion, as is the issue of inequality and exclusion in this region and the use of the law to help people to go forward. We present to you after that, if you just go to the diagram, figure 1, you will see the a kind of an outline where essentially what we are saying is that the drivers of this entire process are the rules of the game or the institutions which are anchored in human rights frameworks and market and non-market institutions which set the stage for the interactions or contestations between citizens and their states or their governments. It's that interaction, that bottom-up and top-down interaction through these rules of the game of both a human rights framework and markets that we expect to make the difference. And then we apply those interactions in these 4 critical domains, or if you like, in the areas of property rights, labor rights, and business rights. Those are the 3 key areas which are the core of the diagram you have. It is changes in the rules and the laws within these 4 domains, and we are going to make a range of recommendations in these areas through which we believe people can begin to use their assets more effectively to help to lift themselves out of poverty. Indeed, not only to use existing assets, but over time to generate new asset bases as well. We also think that the initial conditions for generating this process are beginning with giving people voice and identity. And you will know very well that there are millions of people in the OAS member states who do not have legal identity. In Peru, for example, we are told that nearly 1 million people, adults that is, do not have legal identity. And the numbers vary. I understand when our Commission member Lloyd Axworthy had presented after observing the Peruvian elections some time ago, that representatives from Venezuela, for example, had said at least 4 million people there might not have legal identity and therefore be able to participate in the democratic process as fully as they might like to. I mean, these are numbers that one have heard. These have not been checked or verified, so I just put it out to you for what it's worth as just mere indicators of scale. So beginning with voice and identity, people then have to have an awareness of their rights and be able to organize themselves in groups to be able to begin to realize those rights to a greater extent. This has to be all driven by a fair and accessible system of the rule of law, where laws work for the excluded, where the law works for all, and where poor people have a confidence in the rule of law. That interaction, we believe, will lead to greater protection of assets as well as greater opportunity, and that is what we call legal empowerment. People getting greater access to greater opportunity and greater protections. And we then show you how that is linked to people improving their livelihoods, and I wouldn't bother to take much of your time to do that, but essentially to say that people as citizens, as asset holders,